What we need is local control.
Tom King.
Sometimes we expect great things.
Christian Arcand.
Things can't always work out the way we expect.
Christian and King. ESPN New Hampshire Radio. Streaming live on ESPNNewHampshire.com. Christian and King. Here's Christian Arcand and Tom King.
Blink of an eye, all of a sudden you're excited on the bench and you think you got some chances, and then it's kind of like what just happened here. But that just happens. It's hockey sometimes. It's playoffs. It's going to be a long series, and we're looking to bounce back.
Gallagher steps back in. Watched by Boychuk. Save. Rebound wide open. Buchanan. Then to Preston. He crippled one that's off the scrolling. Rask, and they battle away some more around behind. Take it to the back. Weaver, a shot. He scores! And a little feed by Krejci. Lucic and in. They stay in counts. We will see.
I think Lucic put it in with his glove, Doc.
Upon review of the play, there was no goal. The puck was directed in with the hands. No goal.
And then Subban yet again. Onto the back to Markov. Hands across Pacioretty. Subban there. Sent one in front. Score! Subban with it again. Back across for the hold there in the return. Drive! Score!
It's part of hockey. It's part of sports, and it's part of the playoffs. We'll work hard, and it happens. It's they got the first one. Now we want to get the second one.
Marchand to the back. Hamilton with a shot. Getting there, it's Bergeron. But it's kicked along by Weaver. Reached by Marchand. Then the shot. Bergeron!
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I don't only see it on the ice, but I also feel it around the dressing room and everything else. We're a very focused group right now, and the challenge is we got to stay there.
It is Crew feeding one across Smith.
Riley Smith with the puck being slowed down by Brendan Gallagher just at the last second. Beats Carey Price.
Dumped along at the half boards. Gotten there and swung back out. Lucic with the net open. Score!
Well, good afternoon. Christian and King here, ESPN New Hampshire, streaming live on the ESPN radio app and ESPNNewHampshire.com. I'm Christian Arcand. That's Tom King. Nice to have you with us today on a Monday here in southern New Hampshire. Sun's out, but it's not too bright today. Bruins are traveling after another amazing comeback. Third period comeback. I don't know what it is with this team in the third period, Tom King. But it has been something to watch in these first two games in Boston. The series goes to Montreal tomorrow, and we're all pumped up about it over here. How you doing there, Tommy King?
Did you get through it all right?
I did.
For crying out loud.
I had issues.
You sure did.
I really did.
I had issues, too. I had a plate of food in my hand. I couldn't text you back half the time.
Sorry.
Oh, I can't find this. Oh, I can't find that. Oh, where do I go here? Oh, there's nothing there for me there. Oh, where do I do this? Oh, where do I go there? Oh, now this doesn't work. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, my God. I almost dropped everything and went down there myself, for crying out loud.
First of all, that is not how I said it.
Oh, yes, it was. It was in those. Oh, my God.
I'll say this. I was very self-conscious.
Oh.
That was the first professional sporting event I've ever covered.
Yes, I know.
All right?
I know.
Ever in my life. I've never, I've worked here for a few years. I've interviewed some people. I've never, ever, I've never worked for a paper. I've never worked for anybody else. I've never done that before.
It was torture.
And I was really worried I was going to make a giant ass of myself.
Oh, my God.
Just by doing something that I didn't know you're not supposed to do. Or whatever it is. And I didn't want that to happen.
There's two things you have to remember. And the only two things
he tells me now after the game.
Remember. All right? I forgot the first one.
Don't step on the B?
No, one. Yeah. One is don't cheer in the
when
press
you're up
box.
there? Okay, I didn't.
All right?
Yeah.
Don't cheer in the press box. Okay?
What about like a clap fist pump?
No.
Not even a clap and a fist pump?
Not even anything.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't cheer in the press box, and don't step on the B.
And don't step on the B.
All right?
I'll tell you what, I almost stepped on the B.
I know. I've done it before, too.
And I didn't know. Everybody's on their phones, first of all. Every single Bruins reporter is constantly on the phone. There's nothing.
No,
they don't talk. It's just always on the phone. And by the way, you know what happened on Saturday?
So were you.
I met Joe Haggerty for the first time in my life.
Thank goodness.
First time in my life. Never met the guy in person before.
Thank goodness.
I've been having him on a show a show on this station for about 3 years.
I kept trying to
and we've never met each other.
I kept trying to throw out people to you to hold your hand, but they weren't there.
It's fine. I mean, there's nothing.
Oh my God.
There was nothing to do. Now here's what happened. I show up. I found my perfect little secret parking space over by the government center garage, parked for free.
Yep.
because that's how I roll.
That's good.
Walk down.
Yeah, that's good.
And I made it up the ramp and over into the to the entrance. So I go up, and there's this guy there, and he's got like his luggage, and he's leaving right after the game, and they don't have his name on the list, and it's this whole big thing.
It's always a mess when
Montreal
you go in.
guy, right? And
It's always a mess when you go in.
We're about 5-10 minutes before
That's
puck
why
drop,
they should just issue some kind of blanket credential. But they do it for the season, but they won't do it for the playoffs.
For the playoffs, right? Because there's so many more people covering it, I guess.
The NHL, when it gets to the Stanley Cup Finals, they'll do that.
Right. So there's this guy there, and he's got his suitcase and, like, you know, another bag on top of the suitcase. And for a second, I felt like I was in line at the airport.
Oh, yeah.
Like
no,
I was about to go through
exactly.
security or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
because there is a security thing, and they buzz you through, and, like, it was this whole thing.
Yes, I know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I sort of felt like I was standing there, and then all of a sudden they get the guy in, and I walk up, and I said, I'm Christian Arcand with ESPN New Hampshire. And they said, oh, yeah, you're on the list. Great. And I said, all right, great, I'm on the list. So what do I do? And they said, you go take a right, go up the elevator, and go up to the 9th floor. And you'll see where your seat is when you get up there. And I said, great. So I saw Haggerty and Michael Felger, actually. I rode up in the elevator with those guys, which was kind of cool. Made it up to the top, you know, said goodbye. Looked over at the list, and it said ESPN Radio, ESPN Boston, Joey Mack.
That's funny because we were there.
ESPN something else.
Yeah, that ESPN something else I bet was ours.
It wasn't. No, it was just there was 2 ESPN Bostons, 1 ESPN Radio, and Luis Cornetto was there for ESPN Radio too.
Right.
So, and I'm looking for ESPN New Hampshire, and we weren't there. Nothing. No King, no Sensabella, no Arcand, nothing. Just it didn't exist.
It doesn't have our names. It just has the company name.
Well, yeah, it didn't have anything. So there was
strange.
And so I'm thinking, I don't know what that means. I just saw, there's no name there. So everybody's settling in, everybody's setting up at their little posts and pulling up their laptops and everything like that. And I'm just sort of walking around because there's a lot of rows, and I'm thinking, well, maybe someone hadn't gotten here yet, and I can just sit there, or maybe I can.
But I mean,
but I didn't want to do that either because I didn't want to get kicked out of a seat. On my first day, I don't know what the protocol is, and I was a little, you know what it's like, and you're in an unfamiliar place and don't want to look like a jackass in front of these people that you consider peers or people you'd want to have on the show or whatever it is. So I'm sort of just standing there and I'm walking around and everybody's hard at work, typing and tweeting and all that stuff, and there's nowhere to sit. Anywhere. So I went all the way down past the broadcast booths, and there was the seats that they have for the players' families and stuff like that.
Yes, curtained off.
Right,
Yeah.
but it wasn't curtained off. So I walked right in, and I was like, hey, are these open? And they're like, no, these are for the players' families.
Right.
You need to leave. And I was like, okay, well, bye. So I turned around. I got a pretzel out of the little thing. There was pretzels and popcorn and candy and stuff like that.
Did you see the dessert cart?
Yeah, the dessert cart. That's all I saw. It was just the dessert cart and the
you didn't
pretzels.
get there in time for the food.
I must have missed the big meal. But it was a 12:30 game, so I don't even know what they had, I mean,
probably mostly breakfast and brunch stuff.
Yeah, I'd imagine. So anyways,
boy.
game's going. I'm texting you because I don't know what to do.
I got a headache already.
I didn't want to stand behind people because Tom Rowe does that to me every day. Tom Rowe just stands behind me while I'm sitting there working, and it drives me insane. So I'm very self-conscious about that sort of thing, too. I didn't want to stand behind these people while they're working and covering the game because I didn't want to be like Tom Rowe.
Stand behind somebody who's not typing on a laptop. That's what you do.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's the Steve's?
That's basically what you do. Now, the other night, Jim and I went, and we only had one seat, but the Yahoo Sports guy was not there, and I sat in his seat. So it worked out. But because it was a weekend, I imagine there were more media that were coming in. Like, for example, Louise was not there on Thursday night. So
Texter says, I'm pretty sure Hags isn't telling anybody he met you.
Probably not.
Probably not, yes.
Probably not. So,
But, But Mike Felger witnessed us meeting each other for the first time. He thought it was very nice.
It was an ordeal.
Because I've talked to Joe Haggerty more than I've talked to, my parents over the last 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
Which is kind of weird to think of. But it's true. I mean, it's, these people all sort of become part of your life, and you never even meet them. But anyway, so I didn't want to stand the whole game because I couldn't see, first of all. So I just went down to
the 9th floor. You can see everything.
All right, if you're standing directly over somebody's shoulder,
I've stood over,
like Tom Rowe.
I stood by my seat the other night.
Right, but Tom, if they're all blocked off and you're standing behind them, I'm not going to hover over people. I don't want to be that guy.
And you're taller than I am.
That's true. I am taller than you.
Right.
But that's hardly the point.
See a lot more.
Yeah, if I want my crotch to be right up on their back of their head, I don't want that to happen. I'm sorry, that's uncomfortable. I didn't want. So I said, forget it. I'm going down to level 3.
After I told you to go down to level 3.
Said, well, if you can't find anywhere to sit, go down and watch the game at level 3. So I said, all right, fine. So I went down, and it was actually kind of chill down there. I mean, it was this big empty room, and the only people who were down there were the TSN cameramen,
right,
who were just shooting the breeze. So I'm sitting down there with them, And Montreal goes up 3-1. And they start with, hey, better start the car, eh? The whole Canadian bleep talk, which, by the way, is the most hilarious sort of smack talk there is. And, there's not much I could say, so I'm
Where do you sit there when they're next to a Montreal writer who's starting to talk in French to his editor?
Oh yeah.
God,
There was some of that, too.
That used to, it happens all the time.
I can understand what they were saying.
The only problem with what I do when I'm writing is I go down after the second period.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way I'm able to, as soon as the game ends, send my story right away and then go right into the interview room, and it's just much easier to do that.
Yeah.
But the problem sometimes with the downstairs and the monitors that they have there is they're behind.
Yeah, they were. They were about 5 to 10 seconds behind.
5 to 10 seconds behind.
So you'd hear the roar.
You'd hear the roar of the crowd and the horn.
And Tom, there were a lot of roars.
Yeah,
there was 4 of them in the third period.
Third period, that's tough.
They were roaring constantly, so I'd hear it, and then I'd say, hey, better not start that car there,
right, yeah.
hoser. That's the only thing I know how to call Canadian people is hoser. I don't know any other thing to say. And eventually they, completed the comeback, came back and won. I was already down there, so I was first one in line to get to the locker room, which was pretty cool.
That's good because you see what the locker room's like.
Yeah.
It's,
oh, it's a mess.
40-1.
Right.
40 people to one person.
They let all the Montreal people in first.
They do because
I kind of wanted to go in with them because no one knew who I was. I could have gone with them. They wouldn't have known. You
could go anytime. If you want to go to the visitors' locker room, you don't have to be a Montreal person.
Right, but I'm saying, if I went in there, I could have pretended like I was a Montreal person because no one knew who I was.
Right, but it did.
And I could have spoke French to them. It could have been this whole thing.
But it doesn't matter who
Tom,
they know who you are.
You're missing the point. What I'm saying is I could have pulled off some kind of prank, but I wasn't thinking really about doing that. But, being like an unknown, nobody there except for Haggerty had any idea who I was. I do speak French, and it was way too late by the time they finally said it. But I thought, man, if I had planned this out, I could have just snuck right into the Montreal locker room and started saying weird stuff in French to people and, then making a jackass of myself and getting us kicked out.
That would have done a good job.
But it would have been funny.
Yeah.
And it would have made a good bit on the radio. Which is all I care about. Texter says you didn't want to look like a jackass, but you don't mind sounding like a jackass every day on your show. That's true. I don't know. It's different, I guess, when you're down there and you have to face the people than it is when you're here talking. But
they don't know what you look like, Texter. So
exactly. That's the thing.
Except for me. Then I'm screwed when I go down there.
Right. They all know you. I almost stepped on the bee. It was Brad Marchand was the first guy that came in and talked to us. So I was there, and I was getting the sound on my phone, and the screen went black. And so I'm trying to get the thing back to make sure it's still recording. And I turned around, and as I turned around, I took one step, and I saw the bee below my foot. And I saw it there, and I'm, about to step on it. And I look up, and there's that guy who's the guy who's like, 2 more questions for Tuca. You know that guy? And he's standing there, and he's glaring at me.
Eric, yeah.
And he's looking right at me, and I looked right at him. And then I did, one of these. I was like...
Yep. There you go.
I pirouetted around making sure I didn't step on the thing, which I did not, by the way, and I was proud of myself for that. And yeah, overall, great day at the old ice rink, I'd say.
Yeah,
I give it 10 out of 10.
You gotta get the full experience as you get the food.
Yeah,
you have to pay $8 for it, but because it goes to a scholarship fund.
Oh,
but believe me, where else do you get lobster mac and cheese like that?
I don't know because I didn't get it. Right. I'll tell you where else you get lobster mac and cheese. Right at Quiznos on 123 Main Street here in Nashua. That's where you get lobster mac and cheese. And at participating Quiznos locations all around the greater southern New Hampshire area. I'm hungry, too. I actually got to go get a sandwich in between this. But speaking of being hungry, Tom.
Yes.
I had such a great time this weekend. I've decided we're going to give away a gift certificate, $25 to Bobby and Ray's Fat Boy Kitchen, which is in Nashua and is the bomb. $25 is enough to really make a nice meal over there. We've been ordering from them for a week now. I had this burger. I had this. Last week I ordered. We order from them every day.
Yep.
I got this burger last week, and I forget what it's called, but it had a fried egg on it. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so delicious.
Jeez, now you're really getting me hungry.
I know. A burger with a fried egg and cheese, and it was great.
This is ridiculous.
Anyways, you can get the burger with the fried egg and get one of their crazy pizzas. Their the cheesy wiener pizza that they have at Bobby and Ray's.
Or the wings.
The wings, which are off the hook, too. I mean, this place is really, really great. And we have a $25 gift certificate for you right now because it's lunchtime. We know you're hungry. We're hungry, too. So we're going to help everybody eat this lunchtime, this lunch hour here on Christian and King. All right, we'll do that right before we go to commercial. Now that I've explained my experience from the game, Tom, what'd you think of that game?
Oh, I didn't see a whole lot of it.
Didn't see much of it?
No, I saw some of it.
I didn't either, to be honest
But
with
I
you.
didn't see a whole lot of it. I just think, you're up 3-1 on the road in the third period. You got to win that game if you're Montreal.
Yeah.
And I think that the momentum shift, I think losing that game is going to set the Canadiens back. And I expect them to drop 2 in Montreal.
I think they'll drop. Montreal will drop 2 in Montreal.
I think the Bruins are going to come back to Boston with a 3-1 lead.
Well,
I think the Canadiens had them. See, when you have those opportunities, more often than not, when you let the other team off the hook, take your foot off the gas, boom.
Right.
And it comes back to haunt you. And I think it's going to come back to haunt Montreal.
Well, okay, but then what about between games 1 and 2? Bruins had a big comeback between games 1 and 2. They ended up still losing the game, yeah. But where was their momentum then? They still got off to a slow start in game 2.
Montreal had a 2-goal lead in the third period. You can't. You've got to hold on to those, and a chance to go up 2-0 and go home for 2 games. It was all sitting right there for them.
Right.
And they didn't get it done.
I'm saying though, Montreal blew a lead in game 1.
Right.
Boston came back. They lost the game, so I guess that's probably the big.
Theoretically, the Bruins could go up to Montreal and be up 2-0.
Yeah.
Right? Theoretically. So
I think a lot of them felt like they should be.
They probably should be, right? And that's why I think that the series is probably over. I mean, I really do. I just think that Montreal had that shot. And when you don't take advantage of that shot, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You're in a bad spot. And I think that's, they maybe they can recover from it. I mean, they did a great job over 2 periods of playing better than they did, overall in the first game. Mm-hmm. And then they just fell apart. They let the Bruins emotionally take charge of that game. And when that happens, that's, you haven't. Once it got to be 3-2, see, I think that what the Canadiens needed to do was they needed to get through the first 10 minutes of the third period and keep the 2-goal lead and then hold them off for 10 minutes. I think they would have been able to do that. But once it got to be 3-2 before that 10-minute mark, I said, forget it.
Yeah.
This is only a matter of time. You're not gonna keep that from scoring. Boston is too powerful on the forecheck. They have forechecked their way through a lot of through how many playoff games have we played now? They played. Are we going through 7? 7, right? So they played 5 in Detroit and 2 in
5 and 2, yeah, so 7, yeah.
So they played 7 playoff games, and they've been the better forechecking team in all 7 of them. Mm-hmm. So. My thinking is, except for a couple of periods here and there, the period in Game 3, a couple of periods in Game 3 in Detroit, Game 4 in Detroit, and then a couple of periods, maybe the first 2 periods, or a period and a half of Saturday's game. But other than that, they've been the better forechecking team. If they keep that pressure up on Montreal, Montreal won't be able to sustain it.
Yeah.
So my thinking is that, now what they've done is they put Montreal in survival mode. Even though it's a 1-1 series, the Canadiens now, all of a sudden, when you lose a game like that, all your weaknesses are right there glaring at you. Mm-hmm. And, they got to be they're in a tough spot.
Yeah, they are. And I'll tell you what, they have no answer whatsoever for the Patrice Bergeron line.
None.
That Bergeron-Smith-Marchand line, oh my God. When they're out there, the Pacioretty, I mean, the only thing they can ever do, Max Pacioretty's been taken completely out of the series.
But here's what.
It's like he doesn't even exist.
Here's the only thing that the Canadiens can count on is they have last change.
Yeah.
So they can put the players out there that they feel can match that line.
But you know what?
So let's see if Michel Therrien.
If Claude has Bergeron, if those 3 out there in crunch time, doesn't matter who you put out.
Let's see if Michel Therrien has an answer for that.
He'll try. I mean, they'll do whatever they can. So. And listen, they still have, in my opinion, the best player on the ice in PK Subban.
Right.
He's been the best player, and again, unbelievable game for him again.
He and Bergeron are the 2 best players.
Yeah, and at this point, I'd even give Subban the edge. He's done everything. He's doing everything on both sides. For a defenseman to play that well offensively, I think is more impressive to me than Bergeron and a forward who plays as good defense. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a defenseman who can play offense like that, like the way Subban does, is almost more valuable than a defensive stopping forward. But I guess that's depends on who you ask. But right now, yeah, Subban's just been unbelievable, and they were able to withstand him and still come away with the win. The series resumes resumes. Just resumes tomorrow at the Bell Center. And we'll be talking about that a lot today. All right, 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-9900. All right, here's the deal, folks. I got Bobby and Ray's Fat Boy Kitchen $25 gift certificate right here in my hands, and I will give it to, what should we do here?
Caller number 7.
Caller number
We
7
played 7
for
Bruins games.
Esposito?
So I'd say 7.
Okay. Caller number 7 at 603-883-9900. That's 883-9900. Gets $25 gift certificate to Bobby and Ray's Fat Boy Kitchen, which is in Nashua, right off the Daniel Webster Highway. Give us a call now, 603-883-9900. That's 883-9900. Caller number 7 gets it. Stay with us. It's Christian and King.
Performance Rehab is physical therapy and much more. They're dedicated to providing quality rehab services to ensure the best results for all their patients. With 2 convenient locations in Nashua, Jerry and Michelle Holland and their knowledgeable staff are always there for you. Take advantage of Performance Rehab's top-notch physical therapy programs, where the highest priority is getting you back to full strength. Performance Rehab, assisting the Nashua school systems for over 20 years. Call Performance Rehab at 881-9990 or performancerehab.com.
There is nothing like your independently owned and operated meat house on Route 101A in Amherst. Hey, it's Tom King, and as you all know, I love food. And if you haven't been to the Amherst Meat House, then you are missing out on the revival of the neighborhood butcher. The selections of their delicious meats and cheeses are out of this world, and their spectacular customer service will guarantee your next meal to be a gourmet experience. So take a trip to the locally owned and operated Amherst Meat House on Route 101A in Amherst, taking pride in the local community.
Steve, I've been shopping around for insurance for my home, auto, and small business, and I just can't get any satisfaction. Can you help me?
Nick, you bet we can. That is what Beals Insurance Agency is all about. What problems are you having?
Well, I called for service, and no one ever calls me back. I'm on hold for a half hour. I don't know if I have enough coverage or the right amount, and the rates just keep going up, and they never seem to do anything about it. I want someone who actually cares about my needs, not theirs.
Nick, we have a trained staff that picks up the phone so you can talk to a real insurance professional. We're an independent insurance agency with high-quality carriers and can find you the best price and quality coverage that you deserve. We are centrally located on Route 101 in Bedford, across the street from Hannaford's. Whether it's your business, your home, or auto needs, Beals Insurance will put your needs first, not ours.
Are you available Monday?
You name the time, Nick.
Beals Insurance Agency, located on Route 101 in Bedford. For a free insurance consultation, call 603-471-9999 today.
Joining us now is our Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Month from Bishop Girton High School. It's Molly McCabe, 2-sports star for the Cardinals. Welcome to the show. And Molly, congratulations on being named Student Athlete of the Month.
Thank you.
You are now eligible for a $2,500 scholarship courtesy of Apple Therapy. Our Student Athlete of the Year winner, one boy and one girl, will get the scholarship. That'll be given out on May the 22nd. So I want to know a little bit about your background. 2 sports over there at BG, indoor and outdoor track. Well, first of all, what's the difference, the biggest difference in your mind between indoor and outdoor track?
Basically, the only difference is the events are different. It jumps up a little more in outdoor, so instead of like a 600, there's an 800. So really the only main difference, and the weather, obviously.
You are an 800-meter Dartmouth Relays champion. I suppose that's your event of choice, right?
Yes, for outdoor.
All state, all 4 years at BG, 2011, 2012, 2013, and this year as well. You hold New Hampshire state records for the 600-meter, the 4x400, and the 4x800. Have you always been good at running?
I guess so. I started doing cross country in 2nd grade because my brother and sister ran as well, so I've always kind of really enjoyed it and been pretty good at it.
You qualified for nationals as well. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was all right. I didn't really run how I wanted to, but I mean, I was still really happy to go. It was a great experience, and I know that my teammates and I had a lot of fun.
Molly McCabe of BG on the phone with us. She is our female Student Athlete of the Month. Let's look at the classroom. 3.6 GPA. You're a member of the National Honor Society as well. What kind of subjects do you like?
I guess my favorite subject would have to be either history or lit. I'm not really a math type person, so math and science aren't really my forte.
Is that kind of the field or one of the fields that maybe you would like to explore moving forward?
I think I'm going to end up studying business. I got into the business school at BC, so I'm hoping to stay there. Hopefully I like it.
What did you like about Boston College in general?
I think what came down to me mostly was academics between all the schools I was looking at. And the location is perfect. It's right outside the city, and the campus is beautiful. I fell in love with it the second I stepped on.
Well, congratulations again, Molly. You're our female student athlete of the month, and you are now one of the finalists and nominees for Apple Therapy's Student Athlete of the Year, which will be named on May the 22nd at the Crown Plaza in Nashua. I hope to see you there, Molly. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
With 6 New Hampshire locations, Apple Therapy's comprehensive orthopedic rehabilitation clinics offer convenient access to a wide variety of services. At each clinic, Apple Therapy strives to bring relief to patients by assuring the highest level of care in a comfortable environment, and they are networked to most providers and all insurance companies. Apple Therapy will maintain full and open communications between you and your physicians and therapists. For your peace of mind, you can find Apple Therapy in Amherst, Bedford, Manchester, Nashua, and online at appletherapy.com.
When major sports news breaks or when covering play-by-play, ESPN New Hampshire is the #1 place to turn, according to the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters. This is ESPN New Hampshire. ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
It was a comeback to remember. The Bruins again tied the game late. Then a Riley Smith goal put the Bees ahead for good in the 5-3 win over the Montreal Canadiens. The series moves to Montreal for Game 3 and 4 starting tomorrow night. After a great regular season, the Manchester Monarchs were eliminated from the playoffs in 4 games by the Norfolk Admirals. 6 Monarchs, including Lyndon Bay, were called up after the loss to go play for the Los Angeles Kings, who were in the second round of the NHL playoffs. The Red Sox were beaten badly over the weekend by the AL Best Oakland Athletics at Fenway Park. A.J. Brzezinski was one of the players that gave Oakland a lot of praise.
They got pretty good pitchers, and the guys started for them. Their bullpen's tough. They don't give up a lot of hits, and they don't give up a lot of runs. We had opportunities. Unfortunately, we didn't get the hit or the sac fly or whatever it is we needed. We had great at-bats, and we had guys out there. It's kind of all we're looking for. I mean, you keep putting them out there, eventually you're going to get the hit. The first 2 games we did, and today we just didn't.
The Sox are off today, but they'll be back in action, and when they are on, you can always hear the call of the game right here, starting with Red Sox pregame on ESPN New Hampshire. In high school lacrosse, the undefeated BG Cardinals will host the Pinkerton Astros tonight at 7 p.m. It's a rematch of the 2013 championship game. Good luck to both clubs. And the NFL Draft is just 3 days away. The Patriots hold the 29th pick in the first round. I'm Tom Rowe. The SportsCenter Update is brought to you by Apple Therapy. For better care for less, you can find them online at appletherapy.com.
New Hampshire sports fans know they can set it and forget it. This is the home of the New Hampshire sports fan. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Christian and King.
You know, we've been there before. I think we got the resilience in here, and I think we're a confident group being down by a few goals. We definitely don't want to be in that situation, but when we are, we know we can come back in games. And, you know, when you have the confidence, most often than not, you're making the right decisions out there.
That was Patrice Bergeron, who, by the way, was a +3 last night, 2 days ago. And it wasn't a night game either. You know what I meant. You know what I meant, damn it.
See, I'm standing. This is how you stand.
Yes.
Right. You just got to go like this.
Right.
Got to go like this. Here. No.
If you were doing that behind me, I would have told you to go bleep off, is what I would have said. And that's the thing. I treat others as I would want them to treat me. So I don't want people standing behind me, so I don't stand behind people. So I just went downstairs. I feel like I made a good choice. All I wanted to do, Tom, my only goal was to just not make an idiot out of myself. That's it. That's all I wanted to do.
No, instead you drove
I just wanted to blend into the
Instead
scenery.
you drove me nuts.
I did.
Right.
But that's because I would have figured out a way to do that anyway.
That's right.
Patrice Bergeron was a +3. Tom Zdeno Chara was a +5. He was on the ice for all 5 goals and not on the ice when a single one got let in. That's certainly something right there. Zdeno Chara.
Were any of Montreal
big-time
special
game from
teams
him.
goals? Were they power play goals or were they all even strength?
2 of them were power play goals,
really?
I believe. Yes. 2 power play goals. Both teams had 8 power plays.
Well,
there was a lot of penalties called.
Bruins have to stay away from that.
Yeah. It seemed like that. That seems like too many, though, because I feel like there was offsetting penalties.
Well, there were. I think I saw a couple of them. Because it was 4-on-4, then it went to 4-on-3, and they had those situations when Vanek scored
Maybe
the 2 goals.
Maybe the 8 is in the entire series. That must be
No,
what
they
it
wouldn't
is.
put the entire series on there. No, that's one game sheet.
Shot summary, shots on
That's
goal.
a regular game sheet. That's for one game.
You got your regular game sheet right
Yeah,
here.
I know it. I've seen several of those over the years.
All right, well, then I was looking at the wrong side because I think power plays.
Get here. Let me see the
total
sheet.
Here,
I'll be able.
I'll
be able to tell you. Oh boy, I'm telling you, people.
There was a lot of penalties.
It was almost as if I was there.
Yeah, I missed you.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. Montreal. Nope,
There's another
Eve.
side to that, by the way.
See right here.
Mhm.
Eve, PP. Eve, PP. Oh God.
PP.
Yeah, PP. I know it. Yeah, exactly. Montreal scored 2 power play goals. There you go.
2 out of
2.
how many chances?
Well, they had, I don't know. I didn't look at their power play. I don't care about their power play differential. I wanted to know how many power play goals they had.
All right, they had 2, which is what I said in the beginning.
Because what they need to do, they have 4 power play goals in this series. What Montreal needs to do is they can't rely on that power play all the time. They got to play better 5-on-5.
Right, or they have to dive more.
In 5-on-5, yeah, exactly. In
Yeah.
5-on-5, I don't think they can match the Bruins, and that's where the Bruins have a big edge.
Right. By the way, I want to say a big
But
congratulations.
it took me a long time to get to that because you didn't know how to read the stat sheet.
Of course not. I want to also say, a big congratulations to Anthony in Nashua, who is our winner. Anthony! Bellissima. All right, he is the winner of the $25 Bobby and Ray's Fat Boy Kitchen gift certificate.
Yeah, it made me had to work. I had to go back there and answer phones.
We got overwhelmed with phone calls.
I know,
today.
no kidding.
I know. It's crazy.
I know.
I didn't think that many people like. They only like us when we have food.
That's
know?
right.
Most of the rest of the time, we just sit here fielding text messages from the angry Akers brothers.
Yes, I know.
Who just like to say mean things, while everybody else just waits for the next time we give food away. It's okay. We understand. Listen, folks, it's lunchtime. You're at work. I get it. Don't worry about it. But you can call in once in a while.
I don't think they're worried about it. I just think they want the food.
I feel like we just don't get any calls anymore.
Well,
What happened to Jeff? What happened to Eric? Eric made a comeback, but what happened to him since? Where are our calls?
Eric's got, well, look, if you had
Eric
if
is
you,
like
if you didn't
he's
know,
leaving us in the dust.
If you didn't know from his last couple of calls, one of which was on a cell phone, which shocked me.
Shocked me too.
All
yeah.
right, is Eric is a man about town now.
He is, yeah.
So Eric he's got other fish to fry.
He walks into the place, he's pointing at people. Hey, you over there. They're like, Eric, yeah. He's like,
Right,
yeah. He
exactly.
can't talk to him, but
Right,
he'll give him the point and then just keep walking.
Right. Jeff disappeared. I don't know where Jeff.
I don't know where Jeff is.
I know it.
Last I heard, Jeff was in Boston. Down at the Ames Plow Tavern, causing trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't there when he was there.
I was going to say maybe he's in jail.
Could be.
He's sitting in a cell somewhere.
That does happen sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Texter says, I'm calling shenanigans on the Fat Boy contest. My phone was ringing before you were done talking, and I was caller number 5. Shenanigan. They spelled out shenanigans. Listen, Texter. There is nothing that is not on the... Everything about this contest are on the up and up. I swear to God. The phones light up. I go in order that they come in. That's the only way you can do it. I hit pick up right in that order. And that's just the way it shook out. What do you want from me?
Right. If they get you...
And even so, if you said before we're done talking and I was calling number 5, you had to be calling number 7, dummy. So, I mean, if you wanted to go earlier, you would have had less of a chance. What do you want from me? Don't yell at me because you didn't call at the right time. You say, I should have called earlier. Yeah, you still wouldn't have won. Knucklehead. Anywho.
And the thing is if they get you, they have a chance.
Right.
If they get me, I'm the Grim Reaper.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm like, no, you get me answering the phone, forget it.
Yeah.
You're done.
It's
Toast.
over.
It's over. It's too late.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a single tear is shed.
I know.
Taps plays in the background.
I know.
Followed by Let It Go from that Ice movie.
No, I try to figure out a way to slip in here and steal that gift certificate so I can get it.
Right. Well, you can't now unless you
No.
Get an ID that says you're Anthony in Nashua.
I'll work on it. Anthony, you better get here fast.
You don't look like an Anthony.
Try. No, I don't.
No.
No.
Anyways.
No.
You look like a schmuck. Anywho.
This is a big week.
Yeah, it is.
This is a big week.
It was a big weekend.
Because we got it was great for the NBA and the NHL. Because let me tell you, not so great for the Monarchs, who are done. But let me tell you something. That Kings-Ducks game was off the charts.
Crazy.
And I just had it on towards the end of the third period, and it was 9 seconds left. Score! And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The LA Kings have more than 9 lives.
Yeah, they do.
Unbelievable.
3-2 win in overtime.
I mean, and they tied it up with under 10 seconds to play in regulation.
Yeah.
Bruce Boudreau must have been beside himself. So And then they go ahead and they win it in overtime. And overtime started fast. They didn't take that long. They didn't take long to Zamboni the ice in that one.
Yeah, I know. That was a quick one.
That was a real quick intermission because I went out to flip a couple of burgers.
Yeah.
And came back in and they're like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
They playing already?
Both of those goals, by the way, scored by the same guy.
Gaborik.
Marion Gaborik, yeah.
Gaborik, yeah.
Who was a beast.
Yeah, the Rangers.
Former Ranger, yeah.
Yeah, the Rangers let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they traded him because he wasn't doing anything in New York.
Yep. Just needed a change of coast.
No, needed a change of coaches.
And coaches.
You know, and then the Rangers took care of that themselves.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but they didn't play very well last night, losing to Pittsburgh 3-0.
Right.
Rangers need to score more goals. They really have.
Now that series is tied up at 1, right?
Then their big guns, Nash and some of their big scorers, including especially Nash.
Has Nash done anything?
No.
Like
he has.
He didn't do anything last year.
No.
He is not a big.
He is not a big time.
I'll tell you what it is.
Player.
There's something about big, tall forwards.
When they get in,
Thornton, Lindros.
Yeah. When the light comes
Nash,
on,
and they're all Rangers too. It's the other. Well, not Thornton, but I mean
they all. But when the light comes on, they go dark.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's always these big, tall guy. They're always the same.
It's a difference between playoff and regular season hockey. They don't make the adjustment.
Yeah.
Because they've been allowed to roam around the ice fairly free most of the regular season. Then they have to get bodied. Now, Thornton is used to it. He's a center. He plays down low in front of the net. But I just think that Thornton just gets so bodied off the puck that he's gets banged up and can't respond.
Yeah.
Nash is a freewheeler. Lindros is big enough. Lindros should have been able to make his own space.
Right.
Nash can't make his own space. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, the Rangers have to adjust to it. Pittsburgh, finally got off track back on track last night. And the longer that game went scoreless, the longer I said, you're not going to keep these Penguins scoreless for the rest of the game.
Yeah. So as far as you're concerned, Tom, this Bruins-Montreal series
I just think the Canadians
finished.
had their shot. I think they had their shot.
Okay.
They had their shot.
Had their shot to take a 2-0 lead on the road. I mean, that's not – you say that like
that's
something that they should have been able to do.
They had their shot to do it because
Right.
they're up 3-1 going into the third period.
Well, they also took home ice advantage away, okay? And now they have the next two games at the Bell Center.
But still, they had a chance to put their foot right on the Bruins' throat and keep it there for a while and not let them up.
Right.
And, even if they split at the Bell Center, they come back to Boston with a 3-1 lead.
True.
All they had to do was play 20 minutes of sound hockey and maybe put a goal in, and they couldn't do it. They let their foot up off the Bruins, off the gas, and now they got the Bruins back in the series, and the Bruins have all the confidence in the world with the way they played.
Yeah. One little piece of news, Adam McQuaid
out.
Found out today, done for the year.
Yep.
We'll see Dennis Seidenberg before we see Adam McQuaid.
Seidenberg practiced again today, but again, I don't think there was contact involved. When there's contact involved with Seidenberg in practice, then you start the clock.
Right. He's still been wearing the no-contact jersey.
So, until it sounds like Rob Gronkowski.
He does, yeah. Let's talk about Adam McQuaid here, Tom. This is 2 seasons now with this. What do you make of him? I mean, I almost forget what he's like on the ice, It's like I almost forget what his strengths are.
I think he's a player that likes to get in the middle of things, and it pays the price for it. And injury-wise is why, and too many injuries.
Is he worth enough to try and keep him around and get him healthy? I mean, is this a guy worth sticking with?
Any defenseman is worth trying to keep healthy.
No, I know, but I'm saying in the
what's
future, not now, obviously.
I mean, if his contract's up, no. But I mean, if he's under contract, keep him. Why not?
Well,
he
gets hurt a lot. That's why.
but still, I mean, you've got the depth.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to include him in a trade, that's fine, but his value isn't going to be very high.
No, it won't be.
He'd be a throw into a trade,
right?
Or a bit part of a trade, of a multiplayer trade. And there's no reason to trade him right now.
I guess I'm just saying, is he worth keeping on the roster over a Providence Bruins defenseman at this point? Just someone who will come out and play for you. I mean, that's what we're talking about now. Is he good enough? Is Adam McQuaid, when he's healthy, and we'll see when he comes back if he ever does.
Well, he won't come back this year. He's out.
No, I know, next year, whatever.
Right.
If assuming they stick with him.
That all gets taken care of in training camp and early in the season.
Yeah.
If a Providence defenseman someone who we haven't talked about comes in and wows the coaching staff, then they have a chance to beat McQuaid out of a job.
Right. What I'm saying though is if McQuaid continues on this path of, nagging injuries that last all year and he plays, intermittently here and again,
right.
At what point does just a warm body from Providence make more sense than sticking with him and paying him?
You got to release him.
Right.
His contract.
Tom, I understand the process. I'm saying, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's not that simple.
Okay.
If what do you want him to do? Bench McQuaid and have him, scratch him every night?
No, I don't want that.
Right, exactly. So they're not going to keep him if that's the case. They're not. So, but if you got to pay him and he counts towards the cap, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So that prevents a younger player from taking his spot, unless you can amnesty him. But I don't think he's not worth it.
I don't think he's worth that.
He's not worth it.
Yeah. You do that with guys that make a lot of money.
Guys that make a lot of money that you know that aren't going to be able to perform, and you get rid of them like that. Or if you've got you need cap room immediately, and you can feel you can do without that player.
Right.
So that's the thing is I don't know what you want me to say here because he gets beat out in camp, different story.
Mm-hmm.
If he proves himself complete,
you're not ready to make a decision on him one way or another.
No, you can't.
That's what I was asking.
You got to see him fully healthy and see if he can sustain it.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, 603-883-9900. That's your phone number, 883-9900. Text line up and running over at 50352. Let's see. You Putza said the same thing about the Indiana-Atlanta series. You don't know squat. What did we say about the Indiana-Atlanta series?
I don't know.
That it was over?
I never thought it was over.
That it was over? I mean, I thought it was. I thought Indiana was just completely melting down, and I wasn't alone.
I just think in these series, most often the talent ends up coming to the top.
Yeah, generally.
Even if it takes 7 games, sometimes it does take 7 games. But, in this case, it did. In the OKC-Memphis series,
yeah,
it did.
Mm-hmm.
But at Clippers
Golden State? Yeah.
Clippers Golden State, all of these series, you get,
By the way, Memphis got screwed. Memphis got screwed with Zach Randolph. He got suspended for Game 7.
Oh, he did?
Their best player didn't play in Game 7 because they said he punched somebody.
I didn't know
which
that.
He really didn't.
He didn't?
And if Kevin Durant had done that to Tony Allen, guarantee you they don't suspend him Game 7. Guarantee it. No way.
I didn't see that.
I'll show you the play. I'll show it to you during the break.
Yeah.
I'll catch you up on all these things. They might. You know what? ESPN hardly showed it either. Hardly anybody showed it. It was just like, well, yeah, it's like they wanted Durant in the next round. That's what it stunk of, okay? I'm not like a conspiracy person, but like when Zach Randolph, the best player on the Grizzlies, gets suspended for a phantom punch. It wasn't a phantom punch, but it certainly wasn't a suspendable punch.
Well, any punch in the NBA is suspendable.
It was like one of these, It was like, get off me, one of those.
Yeah.
And if Durant had done that to Tony Allen, no way do they suspend him. No way at all. They wouldn't even. I don't even think they would have called a foul.
I mean, remember Rondo gets suspended? He got suspended in the playoffs for bumping a ref.
Yeah, that was bumping a ref.
Yeah, but still, I mean, that's any physical contact like that. They don't.
It wasn't with the ref though.
But it doesn't matter. Any kind of physical contact like that after the whistle, they don't put up with.
All right. It wasn't even after the whistle. It was during play. But
well, I'd have to see.
They were running down the court. It was just it wasn't a great play. I'm not saying he didn't deserve anything. He probably deserved like a flagrant or a flagrant 2 or something like that. But to suspend the guy in a Game 7 against Oklahoma State, I thought that was a little much. Anyway, 603-883-9900. Your phone number 883-9900. Text in 50352. It's Christian and King. Notes from the Kingdom when we return. Keep it right here.
Joining us now is our Apple Therapy Student Athlete of the Month from Bishop Girton High School. It's Molly McCabe, 2-sport star for the Cardinals. Welcome to the show. And Molly, congratulations on being named Student Athlete of the Month.
Thank you.
You are now eligible for a $2,500 scholarship courtesy of Apple Therapy. Our Student Athlete of the Year winner, one boy and one girl, will get the scholarship. That'll be given out on May the 22nd. So I want to know a little bit about your background. 2 sports over there at BG, indoor and outdoor track. Well, first of all, what's the difference, the biggest difference in your mind between indoor and outdoor track?
Basically, the only difference is the events are different. It jumps up a little more in outdoor, so instead of like a 600, there's an 800. So really the only main difference, and the weather, obviously. You are an 800-meter Dartmouth Relays champion. I suppose that's your event of choice, right? Yes, for outdoor. All state, all 4 years at BG, 2011, 2012, 2013, and this year as well. You hold New Hampshire state records for the 600-meter, the 4x400, and the 4x800. Have you always been good at running? I guess so. I started doing cross country in 2nd grade because my brother and sister ran as well, so I've always kind of really enjoyed it and been pretty good at it.
You qualified for nationals as well. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was all right. I didn't really run how I wanted to, but I mean, I was still really happy to go. It was a great experience, and I know that my teammates and I had a lot of fun.
Molly McCabe of BG on the phone with us. She is our female student athlete of the month. Let's look at the classroom. 3.6 GPA. You're a member of the National Honor Society as well. What kind of subjects do you like?
I guess my favorite subjects would have to be either history or lit. I'm not really a math type person, so math and science aren't really my fortes.
Is that kind of the field or one of the fields that maybe you would like to explore moving forward?
I think I'm going to end up studying business. I got into the business school at BC, so I'm hoping to stay there. Hopefully I like it.
What did you like about Boston College in general?
I think what came down to me mostly was academics between all the schools I was looking at, and the location is perfect. It's right outside the city, and the campus is beautiful. I fell in love with it the second I stepped on.
Well, congratulations again, Molly. You're our female student athlete of the month, and you are now one of the finalists and nominees for Apple Therapy's Student Athlete of the Year, which will be named on May the 22nd at the Crown Plaza in Nashua. I hope to see you there, Molly. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
With 6 New Hampshire locations, Apple Therapy's comprehensive orthopedic rehabilitation clinics offer convenient access to a wide variety of services. At each clinic, Apple Therapy strives to bring relief to patients by assuring the highest level of care in a comfortable environment, and they are networked to most providers and all insurance companies. Apple Therapy will maintain full and open communications between you and your physicians and therapists. For your peace of mind, you can find Apple Therapy in Amherst, Bedford, Manchester, Nashua, and online at appletherapy.com.
Get to Peters of Nashua's huge Kia clearance sale going on now. Peters Kia must clear out their remaining 2013 Optimas and Optima hybrids, and that means huge savings for you. How much will you save? How about a whopping $5,680 off MSRP on a 2013 Optima hybrid? And that includes Kia's standard 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Find this and other offers at peterskia.com. Offer valid on stock number 13K523 with MSRP of $27,580.
This is ESPN New Hampshire, honored by the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters as the best station for breaking sports news and best station for live play-by-play in 2013. This is ESPN New Hampshire. ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
The BG Cardinals are undefeated in high school lacrosse play, and they'll host their rivals from Derry, the Pinkerton Astros, starting tonight at 7 p.m. BG coach Chris Cameron talked about the matchup with FNL Lacrosse.
For Pinkerton, we're going to pretty much play our game. I mean, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to 10-man ride. We're going to run. We're going to try to get the ball back whenever we can. We ride hard. Offensively, we're going to run our different sets. Offensively, we know that Jake Lasoskis and Sean DeLay at the midfield are going to be their guys.
One of the more anticipated games of the regular season. It's a rematch of the 2013 championship game. The Bruins put themselves in a corner once again against the Canadians, and they were able to fight back to the lead, and they tied the series at 1 apiece. Game 3 is tomorrow night in Montreal. The Red Sox enjoy the day off before they get on to a series against the Reds. That game is at 7:10 tomorrow. You can hear the call of the game right here, starting with Red Sox pregame at 6:25 on ESPN New Hampshire. The Los Angeles Kings have recalled Lyndon Bay, Colin Frazier, and 4 other Manchester Monarchs after the Eastern Conference regular season champs lost to Norfolk in Game 4 of the playoffs, eliminating them from the Calder Cup contention. Congrats to the team on a fun and exciting season. And the NFL Draft is less than 3 days away. I'm Tom Rowe. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Peters of Nashua. For the lowest prices, period. You can find them online at petersauto.com.
Local sports talk for the New Hampshire sports fan. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Christian and King.
All right, it's Christian and King here, ESPN New Hampshire, streaming live on the ESPN radio app and ESPNNewHampshire.com. 603-883-9900 is your phone number, 883-9900. Text in 50352. I was saying the Habs have no chance. That's what you said about the Indy series against the Pacers and da-da-da-da. This is that texter who, remember when I was all mad at Frank Vogel last year because he said...
That was last year, yeah.
He's getting back at me. Oh, what's wrong? What do you think about Frank Vogel now? Listen, It took Frank Vogel 7 games to beat the Hawks, all right? Give me a break with Frank Vogel and how great the Pacers are.
He's a good coach. Frank Vogel's
He's
a
an
good
okay coach. I don't think a good coach would have let what happened in Indiana happen this year. I mean, that was an absolute disaster towards the end. Yes, they did finish number 1 in the worst Eastern Conference I think there's ever been. But, I mean, towards the end of that season, that Atlanta series, that was not a well-run. That was a very –
not a well-oiled machine.
No. I mean, they were a hair away. And you know what? Maybe they'll rally and come back and win it all this year. Who knows? You know, if it's not Miami, then I'm happy. That's fine. But you can't tell me that looked like a team with strong leadership and everything's sort of firing the way they wanted it to. No way. I mean, that's the opposite of that. Pretty much. All right, 603-883-9900. That's your phone number. Yes?
Oregon State just fired their head basketball coach.
So?
He happens to be the brother-in-law of Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oops.
Uh-oh. On that note, let's get the notes from the kingdom.
Message for you, son.
King in the castle, king in the castle.
Notes from the kingdom.
Well, lacrosse is getting more and more popular these days.
Right.
And one of the reasons around here is that Bishop Girton is just a powerhouse and boys lacrosse. And they beat Lincoln Sudbury of Massachusetts, another highly ranked team, 9-8 in a game played at Rivier University on Saturday, late Saturday afternoon, early Saturday night. And that was a big game, but it was a prelude to what's going to take place tonight. I believe it's Stello Stadium in Nashua at 7 o'clock when they play Pinkerton Academy. Girton and Pinkerton annually seem to be the top 2 teams in the state in Division I. I don't think there's any question about the fact that Girton is up there. Pinkerton just lost a tough one to Division II Bedford because Bedford's got that streak going. But when it comes to Pinkerton, will be a match for Girton. They'll give them a tough time. They always do. It was a great final. I covered that final last year, and this should be a very good game tonight at Stellos in Nashua for lacrosse fans all around the region, just not in New Hampshire, but in New England. Pinkerton Academy and Girton, two of the top programs in New England, will be going at it tonight. Now, switch to football, high school football. Albert High School, it is official. Their head coach is Tim Walsh, who was Mark Phillips' right-hand man last year. Walsh is a veteran coach. And when I say veteran, he's as old as I am. So he's been around.
Right.
Coached at UMass Lowell for their club team on 2 national champions as an assistant. He's the head coach at Lowell Catholic for 10 years. Also a baseball coach. Played the game, played football, played both games. Was also an athletic director down in Massachusetts for a year.
Where?
It was a Catholic school.
Okay.
In St. It's off the tip of my tongue. But it was only
St. Philip?
No, it was in Medford, I believe.
I don't know.
So he was a coach there. I mean, not a coach, but yeah, he did baseball for 1 year there. But he was the athletic director. But he has been. He also was an assistant.
St. Mary's?
Nope. He was an assistant at Bishop Girton for a long time. Or not for a long time, for 3 years. He's been everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at Alvin last year, and he takes over the role. And boy, I'll tell you, if there's anybody who knows how to build programs, Walsh has done it. When he started at Lowell Catholic, he had to put his light on his car lights on the trailer that they use for a locker room, just so they could get in after practice. You know, when it got to be November, it got to be dark. So
that's pretty cool.
But what's cool? Let me tell you something. You ought to see his house.
Yeah.
It is. You drive up to his house.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know it's his house. He said, just go for the driveway where you don't see the house. Okay. You go up a hill, and you like you're at a mountain estate.
Yeah.
And he's got a view. You can see the Hancock and the Crew.
Really?
On a clear day.
Wow.
I mean, you can see it in distance with the 2 buildings standing tall.
Damn.
Yep. He has got quite a view.
That's a view.
And he's built quite a house.
You got to be way up there to see that.
Yep, and it's up there. And he's built quite a house. You can see Lawrence. You can see
He builds programs. He builds houses.
That's just it. It writes itself.
What doesn't he do?
The story, right? I did a big feature on him in Sunday's Telegraph. The story writes itself.
It really does.
Because he builds, and that's what he does. And, boy, he built himself a pretty good house. If he can build himself a pretty good program at Alvern and stay there for a while, they got a good one.
Very good.
So,
all right, I got
your
schedule right here for today's baseball games. They are as follows: Spalding and Exeter going at it, along with Goffstown and Hanover, Farmington and Raymond, Manchester Memorial, Keene, Plymouth Laconia, Londonderry, Nashua North, Lebanon taking on Wyndham Pinkerton, going up against the Manchester Central Little Green, Sauhegan and Oyster River, Merrimack at Winnicunnet, Merrimack Valley at St. Thomas Aquinas, Alvern taking on South, Concord taking on Bedford. We have Dover and Timberlane, Derryfield taking on My Fightin' Newts and Conval and Monadnock. Opposite schedule there, or same schedule, sorry, with girls softball. It's a couple of changes. John Stark's taking on Pembroke and Winnisquam taking on Guilford. All right, that's 1 hour down. We got 2 to go here. 603-883-9900 is your phone number. Shred will join us at 2 o'clock to discuss what went wrong with the Monarchs and what's going right with the Bruins. Not going to want to miss any of that. Keep it right here. It's Christian and King. We're back after this.
Joined now by Marcel LaPlante. He is our male student athlete of the month, and he is eligible to become our student athlete of the year when ourselves and Apple Therapy get together at the end of May for our big end of the year banquet. Marcel will be amongst some of the nominees, and he joins us now. Marcel, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're a senior at Nashua North High School. How'd you like going to school at North?
It's the best decision I ever made. I love Nashua North. I mean, there's so many awesome ways to get involved, whether it's athletics or just extracurriculars, or the teachers are awesome, and I really have enjoyed the past 4 years. I mean, I don't know how it could get any better.
Was there a decision to be made going into high school?
When I was leaving the 8th grade, it was between Bishop Burton or Nashua North. I chose Nashua North.
Well, you've excelled at Nashua North, to say the least. We'll begin on the athletic side. A wrestler for 4 years. That's a very good program at North, obviously. What were some of the fond memories you had wrestling over there for the Titans?
I think definitely the best memories came this year. This is definitely the first year that I felt like there was a wrestling team, like a really good wrestling environment where everyone was, totally on the same page and working to get, accomplish the team's goals, which is to place high at states and win almost every dual meet we stepped on the mat for. And that, the whole team environment made this year just so much more fun because we had, we had a lot of good wrestlers that could definitely place at states, and they did, and it definitely made the year a lot more enjoyable.
What did it mean to you to be named captain?
Oh, I mean, it was an honor, and I had a blast. Sometimes you had to be a little bit of a disciplinarian, but the team was really well behaved, and I couldn't have asked for a better group of peers to wrestle every Wednesday and Saturday with.
A well-behaved wrestling team. I didn't know there was such thing, Marcel, but I'll take your word for it.
As well behaved as a team can come.
We're joined by Marcel LaPlante, our male student athlete of the month. In addition to being a 4-year wrestler, he also ran track and cross country.
And I'm not a runner for track. I actually am a pole vaulter. That's a fun crowd. I like them a lot.
How about in the classroom? Because just as impressive there as on the field and on the mat. 478 GPA, an honor roll student, a member of the National Honor Society, as well as math, Spanish, science, and Latin honor societies as well. Sounds to me like you take your schoolwork very seriously.
Totally. I mean, I'm a student athlete, and student comes first. Making sure everything gets